So, I don't know who's gonna be watching this. If you found this, you're either from the Mega Man community and randomly stumble upon this, or you know me from Pokemon. Either way, allow me to introduce myself and what this all is. First off, hi, my name is Diego01. Most people just call me Diego. I'm a long-time Mega Man fan, and in particular, I've always been into studying the level design of this series. I've been making levels using a level design tool known as Mega Man Maker ever since it came out back in 2017. I don't do it much nowadays, but I would say I'm still into it. As you may or may not know, in the Mega Man community, there is a very well-known level design contest called Make a Good Mega Man Level. People submit a level utilizing a different tool, in this case, Game Maker with the MAGMML3 engine, and all the entries get compiled into one fangame by the same name of the contest, and they are reviewed, then ranked and made public for everyone to play. Naturally, as someone into Mega Man level design, this got my interest, so I submitted a level for this when submissions opened for this contest almost 7 years ago now. Back when I submitted this level, I had no idea how long I would be waiting to get to finally play the level in-game. All those years later, here I am. I submitted this level back when I was in like 8th or 9th grade, I can't specifically remember, but to put it into perspective how long it has been, I'm now in my 2nd year of college. For the record, I'm totally fine with this. I know this fangame was a lot of work to put together, and I thank everyone involved for their commitment and effort. Being able to play my level in game after all these years is a great feeling though. I remember very little about the level. I remember the tiles that I used, some of the enemies, the boss fight, and a few elements of this level, but this is almost a blind playthrough basically. So I thought with how long it has been, it would be cool to record my thoughts as I play the level and see what I think of it now. I would say that my level making skills are way better now, ever since I submitted this, so I'm curious to see how the level holds up. This is gonna be unscripted after the introduction, so I'll probably go quiet for a few moments as I focus, and you can also expect some very non-entertaining commentary. This is mostly for myself, but if you're curious, enjoy the ride with me. Alright, let's get into the actual level. Mine Exploration by Diego01. It's honestly kind of unreal to see that. Alright. So I can say I mostly use the Mega Man 9 Endless style set and Stone Man's background. Which, like, it's a very generic feeling aesthetic, but I mean, hey, it works. This is an interesting enemy choice though. It's from Mega Man Base 2. I like it though. Very unique map. Okay, right. And the gimmick I used was from Uranus, the rolling stone things. I have no idea what you'd call them. And the first token so early on. Honestly, not that bad of a challenge. I feel like maybe it's a little too early. I feel like this should have been a few screens after I let the player mess around with these. But I mean, it's a safe enough screen. I guess it's fine. All right, let's see. Yeah, it's a pretty easy token grab, but I suppose it's not too bad. Another met. Skip over it, I guess. Oh, I didn't know I used spines. That's funny. Yeah, another screen where the player gets introduced to those and then put in a little more danger, you know? Basic Mega Man level design stuff. Oh, baton tongues. I didn't know I used this. Like I said, I don't really remember much from my level. Oh, but I do remember this guy. His name is Pico Mandada, I believe. Funny enemy. I don't know. This is from specifically the variant from the Mega Man 3 Game Boy game. I don't know. It's not an enemy variant you see often, so I think it's kind of funny that I always remembered from this. Okay. All right, now mixing the gimmick and the enemies. Standard stuff. Oh, that's kind of hard to see the batons with the background. I kind of like that. Okay. Oh, good job. So, evidently I'm not too good at this game, but whatever, I guess. One thing I wanna say, it's like, I still can't believe that I'm actually playing this. Like, oh my god, it feels so weird to play this level after all these years. It's like, and I played this level constantly, to play test it of course. I always make sure to play test my levels. But yeah, it's so weird to see it after all these years. Oh, Eddie. Again, very weird to see Eddie early this on. I feel like it should have been later, but I know what's coming up, so I guess it makes sense to put it here. Yeah, mini boss. It's Drillon, I believe. It's from Mega Man 5. I mean, wow. Oh, I didn't think it would die so quickly. Did I really make that easy? Okay, I guess. Alright, checkpoint. Huh. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I remember this. I remember that it put a split pathway. The top pathway just kind of follows the same aesthetic, and the top and the bottom one actually changes quite a bit. So I guess we'll go with the top one for now. I think the bottom one has a token though. Oh, the Drillman Rock Rappers. I didn't know I put this here. Okay. This can be kind of weird, so I'm curious how I use this. Oh, hey, this guy also from Mega Man 5. I will say I kind of like the enemy selection I used, because it's like a lot of non-standard enemies. Like, yeah, you got common stuff like the batons, but like the Mega Man Game Boy enemies, I think that was a pretty fun choice. Alright, and introducing the rock gimmick again, sure. Okay, that's also another pretty common enemy, but it does fit here. Okay, that should drop a rock. I would imagine that drops a rock. I don't know, let's see. It doesn't. Okay, I mean it makes sense, the different graphic, but it kind of looks like it would. So that's kind of funny. Weird. Why didn't I put the rock droppers here? That would have made a lot of sense to like start using it here. Okay, there we go. Okay, this guy shouldn't be too bad. Yeah. Alright, well that's a pretty simple screen. Okay, there we go. Although that Pickle Man isn't really doing anything there, like, it's not really a threat. So, kinda pointless, but oh well. Alright, there we go. And I mean, that was also kinda like, the enemy placement there also kinda pointless, because like, okay, you can just stand back instead of being threatened by the rocks and the enemy. So, I think the enemy placement needed some work. Yeah, this Pickle Man isn't really doing anything here, and this screen feels so empty. Okay, also a screen that feels pretty boring. I can't imagine the judges thought this was very fun. I'm honestly kind of afraid to read the reviews. Yeah, it's just kind of. I'm kind of surprised like how little is going on. That's another Ticket Man there. Well, that's the Mega Man 1 variant. But yeah, why? I mean, like I said, I would say I have improved a lot since I submitted this level, but oh my god, it's just like nothing going on. It's kind of weird. Okay, wait for it to stop. Okay, there we go. And like, it doesn't help that the aesthetics don't really have a lot going on. Okay, like, yeah, it's a cave level. Okay, but yeah, it's just like. Just a bunch of enemies, not really using the gimmicks here. Why am I not using the gimmicks? Plus Diego, what were you doing? Oh, there's something there. Okay. Oh boy, this jump is... Okay, it's not too bad. Aha! The girders from Mega Man Base 2 are also here. I disabled Magnet Beam and Rush Jet? What? I didn't know What? That's kind of hilarious because I actually kind of don't like when levels do this, but I did it on my own level, so I can't complain, I guess. Why did I do that? Okay, I guess let me go a little secret here. I think that's pretty alright way to hide it. I don't really need the M tank, but might as well grab it. Yeah. That's so weird, I didn't think I'd disable that. That enemy could hit you from up there, not sure I like that. Okay, and here's where the paths converge. You also have a gimmick introduction if you came from the bottom. Okay, let's see what's up again. Okay, just more of these, which again, I'm barely using. I thought I used this way more. But now I'm combining the gimmicks, which is what I should have done in the first place. Okay. No. let's keep going. I do really like this Uranus gimmick though. Okay. Oh, I got a capsule, nice. Okay. So you drop into the corridors. It's kind of, the way this is set up is kind of weird. Like, I introduce a new gimmick and then I go back to the previous two that I've been using, only to use it at the end there. That's kind of weird. Okay, okay, there we go. Now we're using it more. Okay, very simple stuff, not the crazy setup. Okay, so there's a little secret there. How? Okay, activate that first. Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Alright, well, I definitely didn't do that the way I intended for that to be done, but whatever, I guess. Something that I don't really like is all the secret rooms kind of feel the same. Like, it's the same setup every time, it kind of feels like. They're not bad rooms, they're just kind of samey. There we go. Okay, okay. I do. Oh, and if you go to the secret, this response, so that's like unintentional extra difficulty. I also don't really like that, but I wouldn't be surprised if I did acknowledge that and just didn't care. Okay. Ah, good job. Alright, here we go again. Alright, we're back here. Okay, well this time we don't have the girders on top because I'm not going for the secret, so that'll be easier. Okay, there we go. That's a little more how I intended it to be. Okay, this is kind of tight. Oh god, okay. Just like keep doing small jumps, I guess. There we go. More. There we go. I think you can get stuck there if you fall a little too early. And I guess I'm at the end of the level. It's a lot shorter than I remember. I mean, that's kind of good because it's like the standard Mega Man level length. I'm pretty sure this level is like 25 or 30 screens long. And then we have the boss fight, which is just Stone Man. No gimmicks or anything, just a different layout. It's not very creative, but oh well. I don't know if the fight is much harder with this layout or not. Sure doesn't feel like it though. I do actually remember his weakness because like, it just makes sense. It's a magnetic shockwave. I'm not gonna use it. I don't know, this layout doesn't really do anything for Snowman. I mean, I'm glad it wasn't just like a flat ground, but yeah, it's not really doing much for him. And there we go. So that's the level. It's over. Wow. It still feels unreal to get to play it after all this time, and it's also weird to see all of this again. And we have it be very different from what I remember, because I haven't played it in ever since I submitted it. Like I don't even have the file anymore. It's on an old computer. Alright, let's get the energy element. Well, by my standards today. Oh hey, let's see what we get, I guess. Hey, MAGMML3. It's alright. But yeah, by my standards today, I kind of feel that was underwhelming. But I mean, hey, I consider this my magnum opus once, so maybe you did quite good, Fast Diego. Well, I guess we're actually technically not done yet. There's still the bottom pathway, so let's see what's that about. Alright, here we are, the mini boss again. I'm still really surprised at how quickly this dies, because I remember this having way more HP. Yeah, like, it's done. It's like it dies about as quick as a regular enemy. It's so underwhelming. But whatever, I guess. Okay, so here's the bottom pathway, which actually has a different tile set. Yeah, look at this change. It actually got crystals and the greenstone. The Jewel Man aesthetic, speaking of the devil. Okay. I don't remember what I did. I didn't remember the top pathway, and I most definitely don't remember this one. Okay, we got some Gutman tiles. You know, in hindsight, which like a lot of hindsight, I should have made this the second half of the level to like have it feel like you're going deeper into the mine rather than just being an alternate pathway. Alright, more Pickleman. This one's the bulldozer one, so that's kind of interesting. There's not really much of a technical difference between them. Okay, so I use the girders here. Huh. Okay, so one pathway had one gimmick, and the other a different one, I guess. That's kinda neat. Okay. And making sure the player understands how this works. Alright, it's gonna be an enemy or something. I can already feel it. No, I guess not. You did good, Pastigo. I feel like an enemy placed like one of the diamonds there would have been bad. Okay. This is... Well, I say that, but it feels kinda empty. I feel like... I don't know. I'm conflicted here. I feel like putting an enemy here would have been annoying, but it also feels empty. It's a bit more fun than the top pathway, but I don't know. There's more should have been going on. I hear some enemies though. Alright. Yeah, and like the black background also doesn't help. It feels so empty. But I do like what I did with the aesthetics here. Like the green stone with the crystals and like the top chains, I think works quite nicely. Should have just had more background elements, I guess. And yeah, these are decently challenging. Not like super difficult or anything. I kinda did that in autopilot, but you know, still not too bad. Oh, and I introduced the rock droppers here too. So so I was like making very sure the player didn't miss that, which is cool. And I'm also pretty sure this pathway is much longer. Yeah, okay, converges here, but it still feels longer. I think I'm not sure. I definitely think I did the bottom one better because I used a gimmick more there, whereas the top pathway just kind of felt, I don't know, like just a bunch of enemies with an occasional gimmick. Also, I'm noticing how weird the tiles look there. It's annoying. And also here, actually no, it's fine there. But yeah, and then the level just continues. Alright, we're back at Stoneman again, and this time we'll use the weakness. Why not? Just to show that it is the weakness. I think he has a secondary weakness, but I don't remember what it was. What? Oh, it's not magnetic shockwave? I guess? No, I think... How much does the other weapons do? That was one. He's immune to that. That also does one. And, okay, he's not immune to that. Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, magnetic shockwave is the one that does more, but, like, it's not really a weakness. Yeah. Let's see, how much does the charge shot do? Yeah, the charge shot does more. Why would you use magnetic shockwave? That would use, why not? It's like, I did meant for it to be the weakness, but I guess I didn't set it correctly. It doesn't work too bad, but like, still. Oh yeah, this is a great boss fight. And there we go again. Definitely could have done a lot more there. Okay, to be quite honest with you, I'm kinda terrified to read the reviews. I mean, tier 10 is not a bad place to be. Out of 175 entries, 65 is really not that bad. But I'm just kinda shocked that I'm in tier 10 at this spot, because I just kinda feel like I played a lot of better levels coming up here. Not that there's a problem with the judging or anything, I think I'm just being pessimistic about my level, that's all. You know what they say, you're your own worst critic. But yeah, I'm pretty surprised at where I ended up. And it's kind of funny too, because back when I submitted this level, back in like 8th or 9th grade, whatever it was, this is actually the placement I thought I would get. I was like, I had very high hopes. I was like, okay, you know what, I think I'm gonna be like somewhere in the middle of the contest. Like, 65th place, I could kinda see that. Maybe if I'm being very hopeful, then I could be in like the top 3 tiers, which is like, looking at the level now, yeah, that's definitely not happening. Nowhere near close that. I still haven't seen them, but I am sure it's nowhere near close. But yeah, and then like as time went on, I saw my level design skills improve. I became way more pessimistic about this level, and I was like, okay, this level is definitely gonna be around the bottom tiers. Maybe not the bottom, but you know, still kind of low. But no, surprisingly, it is fairly high. Still got a couple tiers here, but you know, it's quite a lot behind me. It's kind of surprising. So yeah, and like I do think my level wouldn't have felt too out of place in some past years. So as I played the contest, I also thought it would be down there. Well, I did kind of know the placement because I remember watching the stream where they revealed the placement of the levels and also being very shocked at who it was. There's before I actually read the reviews, which I'm going to do in my own time, and then maybe give my thoughts on it if I feel like it. But I remember one thing that one of the judges said when talking about the level on the stream, and it was that this level would not feel very out of place in a Mega Man game, like just a normal Mega Man game. Which like some people would say that's like not the best compliment because it means you played it very safe, and I did. This is a very safe level. But to me, that is one of the highest forms of compliments that I can receive about my levels because I kind of strive to have my levels feel like they would belong in a regular Mega Man game. So I'm kind of very happy they said that. I was pretty satisfied. And also, one more thing before I read the reviews here. Hi, Solar Man. You're standing on top of my level. That's kind of funny. It's not a favorite of mine or anything, but I do kind of like him, so hey, that's cool. And Fortuum is also here. I like her a lot, so hey, it's fun. Alright, let me read the reviews. Alright, so I read all the reviews, and they had some pretty interesting stuff to say. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I want to give my thoughts on all of them, which can be a little boring to watch, but I don't really care. Let's start. Mick brings up some really good points. I really did underutilize most of the enemies. I didn't realize how little some of them showed up. Mick shares my opinion that the bottom path is way more interesting than the top one. Though it's cool to see they think I implemented the split path in one of the most smooth ways compared to other levels. That's pretty cool. I also see their point about the gimmicks meshing well, which I think they're quite right about, but makes me all the more sad that I didn't use them more. And they also comment on the enemy selection, which I also thought I picked well, just again, a shame I underutilized them. And also like they say at the end, it's nothing groundbreaking, which is what I was going for. I wasn't aiming to do something crazy or innovative, just have it feel like a standard level. So that is both a compliment and some very understandable criticism. Then we have Shinryu. Shinryu's review is kind of what I expected to get looking at this level now. I think all of Shinryu's points are extremely valid, and they probably have the closest overall opinion to the one I have of my level now. They make a great point about the enemy placement. Like I said, I noticed a lot of them weren't really doing much, nor do they feel very threatening. They also point out how more could have been done with the gimmicks and their combination, even if there was an attempt at it, which is something I also see. This review is definitely the harshest, but I think they make a lot of great points. Pachi comments how it's good that I didn't put airborne enemies in the Fallen Girder section, which is nice. I still feel conflicted about how empty it felt, but between putting the flying enemies there and not putting them, I do think I made the right call not putting them. Like I said, it could have become very annoying. Like Shinryu, they also comment how more could have been done with the gimmicks, and they also point out the tileset, which I think is interesting. I don't disagree with their comment on how they could have been done a little differently by having them break up a little. And I forgot to comment on it when talking about mixed review, but apparently Stoneman can get stuck, which I had no idea about. I was kind of afraid there would be some jank like that, and I guess my fears were proven right. It definitely could have been much worse, but it's unfortunate that ended up happening anyways. I never run into it, and I never ended up running into it when I tested the level, but I don't know how I would have fixed it, even if I encountered this glitch, honestly, so it's whatever, I guess. Then we have Flashman, which starts out with a very nice comment. Uh, here, there's this one, asking for a good Mega Man level and seeing the things you would expect in that comment. I feel great to receive that comment, so thank you for that. They also start by saying it's not breathtaking but rather simple, something that all the other judges echo, and myself, which is again something I see as a high compliment but some very valid criticism. Speaking of which, although their criticisms are very valid, and there's some stuff here that I hadn't noticed or thought about before. Limiting pits is something I could have done better, definitely. Screen transitions with bad enemy placement or a way to kill you if you backtrack are a particular pet peeve of mine, so it's kind of ironic that that's a problem here. And finally, they comment on how the health bar blocking things is something that can happen. I never even thought about that, but like now I'm definitely gonna be more mindful of that because I can see how it could be an issue. Flashman also agrees that the bottom path is way better than the top one, and that I could have meshed the gimmicks and enemies more there, which I also said. They also comment on how I should have left Rush Jet and Magnet Beam enabled, and I still don't know why I disabled them. That'll forever be a mystery to me. It's like I don't particularly care if the player skips the challenges, so I don't know why I disabled them. And finally, they point out the lack of items and how one of them was placed, which is fair. And they also ended up with a very nice comment. Again, thank you for that. Finally, we have Ace Spark's review. Like all the other reviews, Ace comments on how this is a very simple level, and it feels like a very standard middle of the road Mega Man level, which, to repeat once more, it's a great compliment for me to receive, but it's also some very valid criticism. They also comment on the talent like Patchy, and also the pick designation like Flashman, which is again very fair. We also agree on the enemies being kind of non-threatening here, and Sonman not really doing much unique here, which is interesting as Flashman said they felt like the layout change was more meaningful. I think both have a point here, and it's interesting to see that the opinion differs between the two. Ace's take on the alternative path and how it might have been better omitted is interesting, and I can very much see where they're coming from. If I was making this level today, I definitely would have focused more on just one path that's more packed, rather than just like two that are kind of okay. Finally, I found the last comment very true and very funny. It's a level up many will remember, and the name doesn't help too, yeah. They're not wrong in that. But hey, it'll be always be a little special to me, as a small part of this fan game. A very small part, but yeah. Forever here. Mine exploration by Negotiator 1. Before ending the video, I want to reflect a little more and also just talk a bit more about the level. First off, I forgot to say this when reading all the reviews, a huge thank you to all the judges for both their kind words and their criticisms. It's a great feeling to know many of them enjoyed the level a good amount and that it was looked at with so much care. I'm very happy to receive all those criticisms because even if this level is old now, I think there's something I can still learn a lot from and apply to my current levels. In the background, you'll probably be seeing me play one of my newer levels made in Mega Maker. I want to have it there as a sort of comparison to see how much farther I've come in regards to designing levels. It feels wrong to say that I have regrets about this level. I kind of wonder if I'm being too harsh on it. Clearly the judges see that there's a lot that was done right here, and I do also agree that it's not a bad level and that I did a lot of things right. I think I'm just very critical about everything I make. Even some of the levels I made that I'm most proud of nowadays, I look at them and I think to myself, I could have done this and that much better. At one point, this level was my magnum opus, the peak of my abilities at level design and my best level. Nowadays, I look at it with conflicting emotions and confusion. Why did I not use the gimmicks more? Why are the enemies placed in such non-threatening ways and underutilized too? Why did I disable Rush Jet and Magnet Beam? Everything that I did while making this level made perfect sense to me at the time, so it's interesting to look back on those things and not have them make sense to me now. Like I said, it doesn't feel right to have regrets in regards to how I designed the level. Past Diego did the best he could have with his skills at the time. But it does make me wonder, what would this level be like if I made it today? I'm kind of tempted to get the dev kit and try again, see how it would turn out. If I do, maybe I'll post a video about it. Regardless though, it really does make me think. I wonder if I would score even higher, or if I've lost the ability to replicate some of the things I got right when making this level, and maybe will end up scoring nowhere. Again, I would consider that my level design skills are far better now, so there shouldn't be any doubt. But maybe I'm just being too critical of myself again. Regardless of my conflicting thoughts with this level, I would say I still feel proud of it overall though. 65th place out of 175 entries and being in the 10th tier is nothing to scoff at in my opinion. I think I already mentioned this, but it's kind of exactly the placement I was hoping for or expecting when I submitted this when I was younger. So to see that fulfilled after all this time is kind of magical. I don't really know how else to put it. I may criticize you a lot, but you did good, Past Diego. Something I do find kind of funny is that I have a thing for library environments in games, so it's a shame I missed it by one tier, but hey, I can't complain. I did well. I also find it very amusing how Solarman is standing on top of my level, and Forgeman being by it is cool. She's my favorite of the fan-made robot masters I've seen here. Honored to have her stand by it, and very amused to have Solarman stand on top of it. I remember having a lot of fun making this level back when I made it. I had never used the MAGMML3 engine, and seeing the dev kit have so many assets that I had never used before was really exciting. I am honestly very curious about what I could do with it now. Making this was kind of a struggle, I remember too. Game Maker would crash so many times, and loading the level to test it would often take about 5 or at worst 8 minutes, so that was fun. I've always loved cave environments in games. That was true back then and it still is now, hence why I went for a mine level. It's also just because mining cave levels are fairly easy to make. There's a lot of talented options for it, a lot of enemies and gimmicks that work here. It is a very safe pick, for better or for worse. I think even if I had made the level for this contest in the present, I would have made it a K level. They may be pretty basic, but they're fun to make. Reflecting on the reviews from the judges a little more, the most consistent things pointed out among them are that it's a very standard level that feels at home in a Mega Man game, for better or for worse. The bottom path was better than the top path, and that the enemies and gimmicks were either underutilized or could have been used in more interesting ways. And I'm glad I managed to capture the feel of a standard Mega Man level. That is what I aimed for in my levels back then, and that is still what I aim for. It's unfortunate that the gimmicks and enemies were so underutilized though. I really like what choices I picked, and playing the level I felt the missed potential basically screamed at me with how quickly or easily some of the sections went by. I find it quite interesting that this level has a split pathway because I cannot recall a single level I have made since or even before this that had split pathways. It's just not a thing I do on my levels. One of the reviews said that it was a good way to get out extra ideas without making the level too long. And maybe that's why it's there. I just wanted to keep doing more with the level but didn't want it to be long, so I opted for an extra path. I don't know if that's the reasoning. Maybe I just thought it'd be good for the level. Nevertheless, I found it interesting to look at now, and I still think it's cool how Mick said that it's one of the better ways it had been implemented across the contest. Speaking of comparing to other levels, I'm honestly still surprised I'm in the 10th tier because I don't feel like my level felt too out of place in some of the lower tiers. Like again, I think I'm just being too pessimistic and critical of myself, but like looking at some of the levels in the earlier tiers, it's just like I thought those levels were pretty good. I was like, how is my level above this? I don't know. Again, I should stop being so critical of myself. And once again, I also really want to thank all the judges for their kind words and criticisms. I know it's a job to play the levels, but it's really cool seeing them put so much thought into their comments on the level, and something I deeply appreciate. I've said it time and time again, but I can't believe at long last I get to play my own level in the finished game. I haven't been reading the level titles before entering the level, so entering it before backing out and seeing that familiar tile set in the top right with my name of the level and my own name was something special. Speaking of seeing my name in game, here's a fun fact. When I submitted this level, I submitted it just as Diegoso, no 01. At the time I wanted to change my name to have no numbers, but as you can tell that didn't stick around. I prefer the numbers nowadays. I'm glad I was given the opportunity to change it before release. Anyways, I'm very fascinated by the fact that the level will just always be here, as part of this game, in one little corner in tier 10. What Ace Park said is true. This is a level that you'll play and most likely quickly forget about, but I'll definitely never forget this level. It's a landmark for me in my history of designing Mega Man levels, that to me not only represents how much I've improved in level designing since then, but also how far I've come as a person. Again, I submitted this level when I was in like 8th or 9th grade, and I'm in my 2nd year of college now. Am I getting too sappy and serious over this? Probably. I have a tendency to do that with things. I don't really care though. It feels like a chapter of my life that finally comes to an end. If I wanted to, I could pick apart every screen and say I should have done this instead of that and so on. But I think I should just be happy to have my level here and to have performed so well, honestly. Maybe if I remake the level, I'll criticize it more though. This was probably an incoherent mess if you haven't played Mega Man, though I'm surprised if you stuck around if you hadn't. And it was probably an incoherent mess anyways, because I suck at speaking most of the time. But like I said, this video is mostly for myself. Thank you if you stuck around it, and if you're playing Make a Good Mega Man level 3, then hey, if you happen to stop by tier 10 and play my level, I hope you enjoy it.